Well, I guess a ring did mean a thing to Craig Conover, who just showed the world a photo of the beautiful 8-carat diamond ring that he was going to give to Paige DeSorbo. It was a diamond so big it would even make Kyle Chan blush. But my sources are saying that sadly nobody cares anymore. Sorry, Craig. Now here's Amy.
I agree. I saw the clip and I was like, that podcast is whack. Craig is whack. Spritz is whack. The ring is whack. Like, bye.
Yeah, I didn't even see it besides Queens of Bravo, who, famously they report absolutely everything in the
Yeah.
world. That was the only thing that even picked this thing up. I would think that it was if this had happened 3 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago when you and I and everyone were a little more fervent, Paige and Craig
Yeah.
speculators, we would be going, "Oh my God, he finally showed the ring!" And I don't deny that maybe he did do it.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, he showed a photo. People will say, "Oh, he photoshopped the shit out of that," or the timestamps aren't right, or he's still lying his little ass off. But it's almost like, I don't have the energy. I don't really care about it anymore.
Yeah.
It's over. Goodbye to both of them. I mean,
Yeah.
I still love them forever, but
What
we
was
don't
he
need
even
anymore.
doing on there?
I think that so here's some I don't dislike that podcast, I think, as much as you do. But I know that they are
You're a little toaster boy?
I'm a total toast ahead. I don't listen to it actively, but I just know that they are the Spritz Society family.
Yes.
And so I think that Craig was kind of like a fill-in host or something, given the Spritz Society connection. I think that it just made sense as maybe him to pop on over to sort of a friendly outlet to share
Territory.
this story. Yeah, because it's sort of a biased platform because they're so in his favor, or they're in his court on everything because they have this Spritz Society connection. So it wasn't the best outlet, for Craig to reveal this thing. And he kind of had this demeanor where he was like, "Oh my gosh, it's just so silly. It's just so silly. I can't believe all this stuff." Kind of like he's so over it or whatever. But then he still did do this reveal, and he was still talking about it, and he was still trying to get like the final word in about it. So there was some
Yeah.
care and thought put into this press that he was doing. But I just think that, I didn't expect that there would just be absolutely no real discussion about this. Just I think that it really exemplifies that people just don't give a shit anymore at all.
Yeah. It's just like, because at least, I don't know, I feel like, well, Paige has an existing, ever going podcast, so she gets to say whatever she wants all the time. And then she got like the last word because Summer House, the reunion, taped latest. So like she got the last laugh basically. So maybe he felt like he had to be like, no, no, like there's more to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. And I didn't really like the ring part really didn't matter to me ever in of this overall narrative. I kind of don't even remember the specifics. I know Paige denied that there was ever a ring. I guess that's the big thing, but it doesn't really add anything to the overall arc, just given what we've seen. So if he had a ring, it just doesn't matter, to
Yeah.
me at all.
Yeah. Did we ever talk about her pajama jams? People were not too pleased with the offerings.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't I kind of like to combat hate, and I kind of was a little offended that they inspired such ire from people when I went on it, not knowing anything about pajamas except that I once upset so badly I can taste them. But I just said these look good, and I know they're expensive. I don't know, $100 or whatever, but they look designed well to me. I liked the logo. I liked the branding. I thought it made sense as Paige's company, and I didn't see anything wrong with it. But when I heard that there was people that were saying, "Oh my God, this is so fucked. Can you believe these fucking pajamas? They're expensive and they look like fucking trash." I was just like, okay, well, I guess, but I don't know enough, I guess, about fashion to be so critical. What were your thoughts on that, on the Daphne launch?
I mean, I said it when I first heard about it, where I was just like, why do we need to have a whole ass line? Like, I think, but we already talked about that. But I don't know. I guess I'm just like, that's the last thing I saw from what she was doing outside of Giggly Squad. And then I'm curious if Amanda's going to do, I think she's still doing her swim thing, right?
Is Amanda still doing the swimwear line? I think so.
Because hers was more of a collab.
Yeah, right. I think so. I think that if I was guessing, I think that Amanda hasn't given up on that one yet. Swim. I forget what it was called, but that was.
I feel like there was backlash to that too, the sizing and the quality and the prices, but.
So it's just so people are just say this is too expensive, and this is too expensive.
Yeah. I think like Amanda kept touting that it was for big tittied girls, and then it was like the largest size was an XL or something.
Oh, I see. All right. Well, yeah, I'll get pissed if I think about that kind of stuff. I'm going to think about both Daphne and I feel so bad about Amanda.
I think it was just like Amanda Batula Swim.
I'm going to think about both of them, and I'm going to start to get probably more pissed off the more I think about them. And I'll come up with more thoughts about it. But as of now, I was kind of proud of Paige for launching Daphne. I still want pajamas, from there as soon as possible. I've told you before, but the pajamas that I wear to bed, they're completely in tatters. So, yeah, I mean, I think overall, we're sort of saying like the future bright for Paige? Is that what we're kind of talking about a little bit in a way?
No worries.
Yeah, me neither. I don't either. But the reason why you and I are talking about Daphne and Amanda Batula swimwear is that unfortunately, I feel like the opposite of whatever Wolf Blitzer feels when he goes into the Situation Room and he goes, "Oh shit, Pamela, there's no news. This sucks. We got to report."
I feel like you've had CNN a lot lately because that's like the third week in a row you've been like, call me Wolf Blitzer."
Yeah, I definitely have. I'm a huge Situation Room guy.
When is that on?
Oh, Wolf, he's I kind of, if you just keep seeing in on 12 hours, you'll see Wolf pop up twice. I think he's at like 3 or 4, but 12 or 1 our time. Okay. Oh my God, he's amazing. I could talk about the lineup of CNN
Has
all day.
Trump ever come up with a good name for Wolf, or he doesn't mind Wolf?
This is, I don't know how much I want to reveal, but I think that he actually has some odd reverence for Wolf Blitzer. There's something about Wolf that I think even the most staunchly conservative, rabid conservative still finds something kind of endearing about Wolfie. And so I think that, what was I saying about the situation? Just that, sorry, to tie it all back, is that I think that there's just no news, in general. So whatever, Wolf and Pamela have to do in the Situation Room, comes up where they just have nothing to cover. That's kind of how I felt a little bit now. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. What are we going to do? Report on Benson Boone's birthday? I mean, it doesn't matter to us at all. I'm so proud of him for being 23 years old, but
that's all.
He's 20. I know, he's 23. He did it. Apparently, TMZ is reporting that he did a backflip for every year he's been alive. 23 backflips. Today, and that was really it. I mean, I said this probably 2 days ago, when this comes out, but there's just been you said it best. I think every Bravo celebrity and celebrity is on vacation, and now there's only political news, which, you and I don't really cover too much, so we're kind of scrounging around in the dust and we have nothing else to talk about,
Yeah. I did listen to, out of desperation, Stassi on Disrespectfully, and talk about, I mean, not that we ever really have much of a format, but they really just shoot the shit on there.
Do they have a news segment?
Nope.
Wow, so they don't talk about the biggest headlines of the day for
Katie did call Gavin Newsom the daddy of the day or whatever. They do the daddy list, and so I guess you could say that was
adhering to
connected to the news.
Oh, that's great. Oh, he got daddy of the day. I was wondering who got it today. Sorry, what did Stassi reveal on there?
She mostly, I'd say the bulk of the conversation was about her doing that what was it called?
Sport,
Sports Illustrated.
I like the fact that
Swim
we're still
Day.
talking about that.
I know.
is crazy.
She said that she really got a lot of confidence from Bethany because Bethany was so confident.
Oh
and
my god.
That Bethany was like, "Nice to meet you," and Stassi's like, "I've met you before. I was on your talk show," and she was like, "Oh, I don't remember."
Oh my god, really? Wow. Oh my god, yeah. Oh, Bethany was exuding so much confidence
By
on
the
that
way,
runway.
she's been posting something like, do you ever get that guy that we used to talk about that does the recaps of Bethany's TikTok?
No, he doesn't ever come up for me.
I got one from him like yesterday, and he said that she posted 24 times in 12 hours.
Whoa, 24. So if you do the math on that, twice every half hour for
Her
a
flight
12-hour
got canceled, and she was like eating caviar, talking about how it sucked that her flight got canceled.
Oh, I don't know what happened. I follow Bethany and on TikTok, and for some reason they say I guess they say you don't appreciate Bethany's content because I never see any of her
They're like,
videos.
trust us, you don't want to see that shit.
Yeah. So did I asked you this off mic. I said, did Stassi reveal and disrespectfully? I said to you, I said this right before we started recording. Did Stassi reveal what the hell's going on with Stassi Says on Hulu? And you said not even one whisper of it was discussed on which that would have been a huge scoop for Disrespectfully. Not that they need scoops, but what the hell is going on with that Stassi spinoff? Like,
I know.
Did people ever? I thought it was going to be. Remember, we predicted that it was going to be Vanderpump Villa, and then Stassi was going to say, "I have to go now. My family needs me really badly," and then it was going to start, be a segue to her show. But that is certainly not happening.
Hulu is in turmoil.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, like is Disney going to buy them or something?
Yeah. It's like, I think it's like a question mark of it's getting sold, and then it's like, how much does it need to exist outside of, like, because it's kind of duplicative.
Yeah, it really doesn't need to exist. No offense. I mean, I like that Hulu has a lot of content that I never see once I finally get access to Hulu. A wonderful friend of mine shared their Hulu account with me, and I love seeing the kind of stuff that's in there, but it does seem like all it is it's just NBC and Disney content, and they all have their own platforms, like you just said, so it doesn't really make sense. So maybe that's like Hulu's not going to make original programming or something. Maybe. And Stassi's swept up in this like corporate nightmare, where it's going to be on Disney Plus at some point. Wow.
She'll get the scrap. Yeah, they mostly talked about like party drugs and like what they have and have not done, and then they talked about weed and what is the producer's name? I recognized his name, but I don't know like what he looks like. Okay, it's not. Who's like one of the main producers of Vanderpump Rules?
Jeremiah. Alex Baskin.
It's like someone we never talk about.
But we know their name.
Oh, Bill Langworthy. They kept talking about Bill Langworthy.
Oh, okay.
And there was a time, I guess, Katie said that she accidentally got really high at the time when Jax got arrested in Hawaii.
Whoa.
Like I don't know what happened, but she got really high, and Bill Langworthy called her on the phone and was like, "Can you tell me everything that happened? Like, what is going on?" And she was like, "No."
Oh my God. She had to explain a very like complicated thing to
and she
producer.
Just gave the phone to Tom. And then Stassi said that she had been drinking this like weed tea, and like apparently she like had been drinking it over the course of like a week or something like that, and then it all, unbeknownst to her, it all settled at the bottom. So when she got to the last day, she drank like concentrated weed basically, and just like was losing her mind. And she was supposed to go film interviews all day and then do press after that. And one of the producers had to pick her up because she couldn't drive. Wow. And they tried to still make her do the interviews because they were like, well, we need you to at least try. And she also threw up in a dumpster on the way there, and Bill Langworthy was like, "You still have to do it."
Oh my God, Bill Langworthy. Oh my God, what the hell is going on there?
He's cracking the whip.
So there's a bunch of interviews from some era where Stassi is high as a kite delivering press.
She said that for the interviews, like on the show, that they probably didn't use any of them because she like literally was incapable. But then for the press stuff, she did do it. And she said that she had to read a teleprompter and that she was able to get her faculties together and nail the prompter, even though she was high out of her mind. But yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, all right. Well, behind the scenes, there was a little bit of consumption of weed on Vanderpump Rules. Well, wow. Good. Well, so nothing much else other than that. Probably just some friendly banter back and forth for the remainder of that interview, I assume.
Yes. I'm very curious. Like, I say this all the time, but I am actually looking forward to our Patreon getting back to season 8 just to see if I still think that cast is as worthless as I originally did. Because, as I've said before, it is interesting that Dayna is so intertwined. Like, she hangs out with Ariana all the time. She literally has a podcast with Katie. She is like as close of friends with that group of people as anyone could be. And for some reason, it just did not work. Yeah. And I kind of want to revisit and understand why.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. I can't wait to get to that on Patreon. If I remember correctly, Max and Brett are major duds. Yeah. Danica was decent, kind of fun, but they didn't like. They didn't like something better. And then Dayna, to me, the entire time, you can tell she's funny and a good person, but she felt like she was too cool for everybody the entire time. She had this sort of holier than thou mentality on Vanderpump Rules, and it didn't really gel very well. And also there was a lot of fake drama that she was creating with Max and Brett, where there was like this really contrived love triangle. Yeah. So it's kind of, you couldn't give her the benefit of the doubt just because it was just such garbage that they were producing while those 3 were on Vanderpump Rules. But we'll be recapping that with a fine-tooth comb in about 20 weeks, I'd say, right?
Remember when Katie fucked Max and they barely put it on the show?
Oh, so wild. One of the biggest things that actually happened in season 11, and it was talked about for maybe 7 minutes of one of the episodes. All right, well, you and I have done one of the best jobs of recapping the latest news. I think it's time for us to move forward. And you and I should talk about these latest episodes of Miami. I think we should. Do you want to move forward?
Let's do it. Yeah. We missed last week, so we'll do both, which I think should be easy to do. The topics are few.
Yeah. And we should keep that news segment in that we just did, right?
I think we should delete it all.
All right, let's talk about this. I want to talk high level for a second because I don't want any of these things to get lost as we recap, but I am a little dismayed by this week's episode of Miami. I kind of thought last week's was fun, the Milan stuff, because the Lisa and Larsa stuff is interesting to me, and just putting them in Milan and having that fashion show, that was really great. But almost everything else that's going on in Miami, I do not like at all, to the point where it's almost some of the worst shit I think I've ever seen in my life. Not the worst. I'm being hyperbolic, but all of the Gertie and Julia stuff is horrendous.
Yeah.
The Marisol marriage stuff is garbage, pure garbage. This is the 3rd time now we're watching her and Steve get married. I cannot believe that that's possible. And then the Alexia stuff to me is coming off as really performative and inauthentic as well. This Todd shit, which we'll get into. So then when it culminates this week with that very odd wedding party dinner, yeah. I was just like, this is one of the worst. I don't even like to say this word, but like one of the fakest fights I think I've ever seen in Bravo history. It was so over the top and lame, and I don't know. It kind of derailed me completely on the steam of Miami. I was almost like, okay, fire Marisol, fire Alexia. fire Julia for sure, and like let's start over. It was that bad, and I'm like, I love Miami and I love this cast, but the things that they're focusing on right now are really really bad, and I notice that a lot of machinations that are happening behind the scenes to try to stir up a bunch of fake shit. So I just wanted to say that, up front. Maybe I was just in a bad mood while I was watching it, but I really was bummed out by a lot of the stuff that was going on.
Well, they need to be careful because their ratings are not good.
They're not good now?
No.
Are they always bad? I know they were always bad, and I know it got canceled, and it was like on Peacock, and now it's back into the fold, but are they still this current season? They're not great, the ratings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. The latest one, if I search on Twitter, let's see. Well, yeah, it's not good.
Really? In the like under 300 or I don't know rating stuff, but
hold on.
Well,
maybe I shouldn't have searched on
Twitter.
Twitter,
It's okay. It's okay. Let me give advice. If it continues like this.
Yeah, series low.
Okay.
The first one was series. The first episode of the new season was a series low.
It takes people a minute. I think a lot of Bravo shows start out with series low. I think The Valley season 2 started out with a series low. It takes people to like know that it's on and for the next day metrics to come on. So I don't really take that to heart. But what
they call the second episode was higher, and they're calling it a season high.
Yeah. It's all Bravo has their own internal metrics that they abide by, and that available data is not how they make decisions at all. But what they should make decisions by is the overall quality. And after Alexia and Marisol and Julia's sort of fumbles in the latest episode, I was almost like, okay, let's re-strategize here. For me, Larsa, Lisa, Adriana are very, very powerful. Kiki is also very powerful. They provide maybe 70% of the Miami entertainment for me. And then Alexia gets away with a lot because she's got one of the most compelling lives, home life in the world. Marisol is the exact opposite. She has the least compelling home life of anyone in the world. So it's just, I think that, I don't know, if it continues like this, they're going to need to make some decisions because I've just never seen anything like what specifically Julia was doing in this week's episode. But I don't know, do you think, am I off base or do you think it was par for the course or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, it just feels kind of sparse. Like, there's not that much to grab onto. And yeah, I think the Gertie Julia feud is like, there's nothing there. Like, I do not care. And it really feels like they're trying to bank on that. And I'm like, I cannot be talking about this for weeks.
It felt to me like two friend ofs were fighting. Like when two friend ofs just like know that it's going to be a cage match or whatever for them to fight each other to see who can stay on the show. It's almost like Gertie and Julia feel like they're on the chopping block and they're trying to overhype this very minor, stupid feud to the point where, I mean, I'll say it now, Julia throws a big, huge bucket of water. Not a bucket, but a big, large cup of water with no ice in it, perfectly filled to the brim, and pours it all over Gertie. And I was like, what the hell is going on? I like drinks being poured and thrown every once in a while, but this was one of the most unjustified weddings of another cast member that I've ever seen in my
weddings
that I've ever seen in my life. And it was.
I felt like she was a little unhinged though. Like, I feel like she's like a loop-de-loo.
Julie has always been on the cusp of entertaining for me. I think that when she was first on seasons 4 and 5, I was like, I don't know about this. I like the goat stuff, but you don't really know what you're doing. You're just kind of always fumbling around for how to do what you think the show wants you to do. And then I started to warm to her when she does that beautiful opera singing gift. And like there's iconic moments that Julia has done, but then this was kind of a retread of back to the old Julia that I really don't appreciate. And I feel like maybe she has that on the cusp energy herself, and that's why she's really fighting for her prominence on this show. And then Gertie obviously feels that way as well. But we can get into it, and we'll talk about these things more as we go through it. So we're going to start with last week's Miami Takes Milan, which really was, that title is perfect.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was literally just the fashion show. Like you didn't really get to have any other fun there.
No, yeah. The fun comes from, it was all about the fashion show. Larsa has her son is going to be in the fashion show, and then Lisa gets to be in the fashion show as well, and they currently obviously have a feud. So the entire humor and premise of this entire narrative that's going on is that they are, it's going to be very awkward for them the entire time to be feuding with a former friend during the Milan fashion show.
Larsa's son is like the only one that has less energy than she does. Like he's like mute.
Yeah. Oh, so you think Larsa's low energy?
She's just like very like, she talks really low and like she doesn't like really get too riled up. Even when she gets riled up, it's like not too much.
I think I don't know. I guess I agree with you. I do agree with you about that.
Which, by the way, this is a non sequitur, but maybe she has low chi because I went to acupuncture today and was accused of having low chi.
I'm so sorry. I don't even know.
It's like my like life force.
Really?
They were like, "Were you born sick?"
Who said that? Right when you walked in?
No, she like took my pulse and looked at my tongue, which apparently has issues.
Oh, I was almost gonna ask to see it on. But I'm like, we're recording.
There's like ridges where you could like see my tongue, you could see that my teeth like hit my tongue.
Oh yeah.
And which apparently is a sign of inflammation. And she said that my hair is gray because I have low chi.
Oh my God! This was after the consultation?
At the end, after I had gotten my, I just went in for TMJ if you want my full medical history. But so I was like, how do I get my life force up? And because she was like, I could tell from your pulse and your hair and your whatever. And I was like, what do I do? And she's like, it's just the way you are.
Really? There's nothing you could do? All the acupuncture in the
Eat
world?
Veggies.
Is that what they said?
Yeah, good quality veg. I've been looking it up online. It's like, but also, this is the medical minute. I tried to give blood last week and my hemoglobin was low, so I think I might be anemic or something.
Oh.
Give me medical advice in the comments.
Well, anemia, is a lack of iron, right? And you don't eat any meat.
It's true.
I don't want to recommend for vegetarians who it's part of their philosophy on life.
I need to go full Rosemary's Baby and just start eating blood.
Yeah, but could you take for anemia? Can you get it? Oh, sorry to talk about this right now, but can you get it from iron supplements and pills? Do you take those?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go to like the real doctor and whatever, but like now I'm obsessed with my chi.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna be. I get so scared about anything regarding health. So if I went into acupuncture and they said my chi was low, I would be depressed for a month until I went back and I ate a bunch of vegetables and figured out what was going on. But that's just I think that I think that you could probably get your chi back up pretty soon. I can get my
chi back.
I think you'll get your chi back pretty soon. I'm so sorry to hear that though that happened.
I looked up one of the things that was like the the ways you could tell that you have low chi is like you might like lack appetite or be like sluggish or like out of breath. And one of the things said low talker. And I'm like, I talk so low.
Oh my God.
I mean, you guys only hear me on a mic, but you should see the levels on the thing. It's like, doesn't even register. And I'm like, my chi can't come on the podcast. It's so low.
So, well, for people, okay. I don't agree with this acupuncturist. I don't think you have low chi, but for people who are suffering from low chi, because we could turn Turtle Time into a force for good. What was the real recommendations for low chi sufferers? Eat more veggies.
You could do like what's like that exercise when you like
Taiba
shift
or
your energy around? Like
Tai Chi.
I think it's like yeah, or if it's not that, it's something like that. There's like shit like that you can do. I already exercise. I don't know. I want my chi back.
I know. Well, okay. Well, let's. If you continue to go on this journey of reclaiming your chi, you just keep us updated because you just let out a big bombshell. People are going to be thinking about your chi for the next year. So you keep us updated. I
Yeah,
don't.
she said I didn't get enough energy in the womb.
Oh my God. That stuff about being born sick would haunt me if I had to think about that. Was I born sick?
She said that like if your parents are old, sometimes like they don't have enough to like give to you or whatever. And I was born, my mom was like on the older side, and Jimmy was like, yeah, but your mom's like a Spitfire. And I was like, yeah, she kept it all for herself.
Oh, really? Wasn't distributing chi at all. She was like, this chi is for me.
Chi blocker.
Wow. This chi is for me. I need this now. I can't bestow this to my daughter. Wow. Well, as long as there's hope. Like, it sounded hopeless when you first started. You said, unfortunately, that's just the way it goes with chi, but it sounds like there's some things you can do.
I mean, I did appreciate that. Usually when I leave an appointment like that, you're like waiting for them to be like, in 6 sessions, like, and she didn't even ever say anything about me coming
No,
back.
I know. That's what made me sad. It was like, you don't even want to sell multiple acupuncture sessions to make me feel better. I also, I went to acupuncture too, and they gave me a diagnosis for something else. In addition to me just going into wanting acupuncture for pain, they go, don't ever eat peanut butter again or any peanuts because they congest you. Yeah, they're inflammatory. They go, you should never. And they gave me this full rule book.
Specifically you or in general?
Some people can't tolerate peanuts very well. And they go, here's a list. And it was like, don't ever eat these foods. And I go, God damn. I was like, wow. I mean, it was like very specific, and I didn't go in for that at all.
Yeah.
But I think there was some truth to it. But unfortunately, I lost that piece of paper. But maybe I should go back to acupuncture again and get like more lessons on life.
I know. I always forget about the tongue thing because I went once like many years ago, and I was low key hungover when I went in, and I showed them my tongue, and they like screamed.
Really?
They were like, no.
Who did you? Sorry. I was about to show my tongue on YouTube. Who did you show your tongue to?
The acupuncturist.
Oh, you showed it.
The tongue is the thing.
No. But then you said that after you were hungover and they got really scared. You said.
Yeah, they were like, everything is wrong.
Really? Yeah, I knew tongues were a sign of health. It's one of the when I look up how do I reassure myself that I'm not sick and dying. They go look at your eyes, look at your tongue, do this the minimal stuff that doctors do first before they do your blood work. And I actually sometimes I look at my tongue and I worry sometimes, to be honest. I go, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's like once you get on the tongue Google images, I'm like, I don't want to be on here.
Oh my God! All right, well let's save our little Trudeau Kitties and Villars VIPs.
I was just saying maybe Lars has low cheap, but anyways.
Yeah. No. I do notice that she is overly calm, and I noticed that about her son too. There was nothing that was making her son sort of feel like he needed to scramble, like even when he had the passport to get there. So let's talk about this pretty generally. Kind of quick and not quick, but just recap it all. So Larsa and Lisa arrived to Milan, and it was very funny to me when the person that was driving them had a sign that said Pippin and Hochstein. I thought that was like, I had never thought about their last names like that, and it was so fun for me for the sign to be that kind of visual gag of Pippin and Hochstein. I laughed. I was like, what are the odds? But of course they would think that they are a package and that they would go together for this thing. They're probably like the Bravo budget was spent on this fashion show. They were pulling like a bunch of random celebrities, and so they got lumped in together as Bravo talent. Yeah. And then to me, I find Lisa so funny. So her energy in the car was really funny when they had to look at each other, and there's no way that you can actively be mean when you're in such a small place and nobody wants to fight. So they have this kind of just passive aggressive, not even very aggressive, but just this sort of like, tit for tat about what is going on in their relationship. But they have to be very civil because Larsa's son is in the car, the driver is there, so they can't like truly get into it. And it felt, even though you could probably say the producers wanted these two to get in the car together, it still felt a little bit real how they were interacting with each other during that ride. Uncomfortable enough.
Yeah, and you could also kind of tell that they thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Like when they ended up having to be together, because their feud is like not that deep. Like, at least not yet. Where they're kind of like, hey, like, this is ridiculous that we have to do this. But
I start to worry. I talked to you about this a month ago or something, that I start to worry in Bravo, the one last thread that they could pull that would make me like start to suspect everything is if two solid cast members agreed to go head to head in a gloves off / half gloves on way, just to provide fodder for the seasons. And like, you can imagine that's something where like Emily and Gina could be like, let's tussle. Let's tussle. Let's have a little tussle this season. Is tussle a word?
Uh-huh.
Let's have a little tussle this season. We'll fight about that one thing that you said or whatever. I just hope that that's never the case. But if you were going to argue that maybe one was, you could say that Larsa and Lisa could be playing this thing up a little bit, knowing that this is very recoverable. Not that bad, but it's good as entertainment to be feuding for the start of the season.
Yeah. I mean, at first I was like, okay, like, it's not so bad. And then they're talking about like the Jody and Marcus of it all. And then Lisa brings up that her dad has been really sick and like might not have much longer. And Larsa goes, it's giving Kelly Ben-Simone to Bethany on Scary Island, where it's like, why'd you come? That's weird. It's weird. She's like, you shouldn't have come. Like, why would you ever come to this if you knew that he was going to die? Like, that's fucked up. And I'm like, that's, I was like, that's a bridge to another plane. Like, that's like mean.
Yeah, I thought so too. But then when I watched it, loving both Larsa and Lisa and agreeing with both of them, even when they're feuding with each other, I thought that it was perfectly reasonable for Larsa to say, well, what the fuck are you doing at this random Philippe Freem fashion show? Philippe, is his name Philippe Plein? What are you doing at this random Philippe Plein, like, fashion show if your dad, and Larsa doesn't know, so I thought that was reasonable to bring up because people accuse Lisa of like not caring about anyone but herself, but definitely a low blow, and Lisa has every right to be like, oh, that was fucked up, because Larsa doesn't know the relationship that Lisa has with her dad. It was bad. I mean, I think he was an alcoholic for most of her life, and they only just recently started to patch things up. So still, you could argue, wouldn't you want to be there if things were better? I
just feel like it took it to another, since they are so close historically. I was like, oh, you want to take it there? Okay.
Yeah. But, so maybe that means that it is more real, and Larsa doesn't mind.
But she also just like says crazy shit and like has no, like, she doesn't understand when something she says is outrageous, it seems. So maybe she didn't even think that it was that big of a deal, which ultimately it's not treated. It doesn't come up again. So.
Yeah, Lisa just says to Jody, like, hey, that kind of sucked, but it's not really brought up again. I think next week, potentially, Lisa is going to find out that Larsa was talking shit about that and bring it up. Okay, next up, do you want to talk about Marisol and Steve getting...
No.
Well,
they will get married next week, and we'll talk about that. But we get teed up that Marisol fucking hates Todd, thinks that Alexia is not herself when she's with him, and like really hopes that they don't get back together. And so from what we've seen so far, Alexia is just like ignoring what is to come, but it sounds like the courts are forcing Todd to make a decision because he filed so long ago, and they're like, all right, at this point you have 30 days to take the next step, either to drop it or to like move forward. Mm-hmm. And Alexia just has to like wait and find out what he chooses, which is like the weirdest shit in the world.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So that's at this dinner, right? We're
Yeah, they
so
have like the girls and like Alexia's gay besties are there. I guess for her just to like it's like her bestie's birthday or something, but it's basically about her.
yeah.
And she starts to like unravel in real time at this dinner where like at the beginning she's like kind of sort of defending it, saying like she's still in love with him, but then she's like he's been playing me, and then like she says that he hated being on the show and that she offered to leave the show,
Yeah.
but he was like it's too late.
Well, let me just say some things about this. I think that this is one of the fakest performances I've ever seen in Bravo history. I was stunned watching Alexia go through this scene. Everything about it, I think, was completely fake. Everything about Alexia wanted us to know that she's specifically uninvited people who she's trying to like chastise or whatever. She has this event that had no mission or objective other than getting this anti-Todd rant out to her friends. So everything about it to me felt forced and fake. And then I've really never seen worse acting in my life than Alexia going through this thing saying, he's an evil monster. He's a monster. I wish they should all die, these people. These narcissists, they should all be dead. We should kill them. We should round them up and kill them. He's a horrible, horrible fucking monster, and I'm done with it now. Please stop me from ever going back to him again. He's horrible. He's an evil, evil creature. And I was just like, what the fuck is happening here? What the fuck are we supposed to believe about Todd in this moment? This person that I have seen a lot on this show, and now apparently he's a fucking narcissist that should be committed, and he's borderline evil, and he's renting fake houses and fake cars, but she still loves him, and by the next episode it's already over and she's talking about him in a flattering light. And I know that they made out post this conversation at the beach like just a couple months ago. So I think that this was like Todd and her had a fight or something about what the future of their relationship was, and she went fucking full force anti-Todd slander to just go with that as quickly as she could so that everyone could change their orientation around this new reality for Todd, even though I don't think it's going to hold up. That was my thoughts on it.
But like no one even likes Todd.
I don't really I feel odd defending Todd with all of my life and my chi, but I swear, without even questioning my intent or why I'm saying this, this all seems really weird to me.
Right.
I don't care that
weird.
Marisol. I don't care. Well, I don't care that Marisol hates Todd. I don't trust Marisol's taste in anyone in the world. I don't believe anything Marisol has ever said in her life. She's done the most despicable shit that I've ever seen in history on Bravo. So I don't care about her taste in anyone. I don't care that Larsa thinks that Todd is a dud or whatever. She has horrible taste, obviously. She's talking about how horrible her taste was with Marcus. I've only seen Todd and I've seen Alexia lie her ass off too. So so I'm just saying that I'm not saying like I'm not saying that when I get the revelation that he left Frankie like without any food and he left him and Frankie goes, when is Todd coming home? That some revelation won't shock me and I'll completely reorient myself. But as of now, I do not have enough evidence to believe this narcissist should be condemned to a mental asylum and that he should be dead. She says he should be killed. That is absolutely ridiculous to me. And I think it is. I have to say, my bullshit radar said that this entire thing was fake, and
yeah.
I don't know if we're ever going to hear about this again.
Well, it was certainly out of left field. Like, I'm just very confused. No matter what is going on, it's weird. Like, it would be weird if he just left without her expecting it at all. It would be weird if, like, I don't understand what's happening.
Right. So I take not understanding to be I need to hear the other side, and I am going to defend someone off camera that I enjoyed until I find out the truth. It's the Michelle Jesse thing is a perfect encapsulation of this thought, which is that if you only heard Jesse's side of what he's been saying about Michelle and she wasn't a cast member on the show, you'd be like, who is this cheating person, horrible mother? And then when you hear Michelle's side about Jesse, you hear the grandma stuff, and it's like, oh, yeah, who's this monster? And until we hear Todd's side, I cannot take any of this fucking shit at face value until I know what is really going on. She said that the whole Todd thing about Todd not liking the show, I know what that was about. It was about when he did that 7-minute apology that we've already talked about. He didn't like that everybody called him a coward and a loser and lame and they called him like like that he was crying or whatever. They really made him have to like judge his entire ethos as a human based off people hating him for this very benign, normal, not like just heartfelt, sentimental message to Dr. Nicole's husband.
Welcome to Bravo, baby.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And there's a part of this is just is what it is about. If you are not there to defend yourself, then people get to write the narrative for you. And I understand that, but I knew Todd enough to where I don't accept this. And
I saw I think it was per Queens of Bravo, someone commented, I guess on his post, I only see the comment and the reply, but someone said, the wife of a friend is saying she's driving his fake car, living in his fake apartment. What should she do? And he said, that depends. Does she bring anything to the table in the relationship, or is she just there to get things?
Todd said that?
Yeah.
Todd
Life
said,
according to Todd.
What's that?
That's his handle.
Oh my God, I miss our follow. Maybe I'll be like, oh my God, what kind of content is this? I absolutely hate this. But I just, I don't think I've ever seen quite a performance like what Alexia tried to pull off in this scene. And then the way that Marisol and, Julia says at one point, she goes, I can't imagine this. I see Todd and I see you out to dinner with him. And when I hear these horrible things about him leaving Frankie alone, I can't really reconcile these two competing images of Todd. And it's like, well, there's a different way of saying that, which is that I don't know if I can fully believe 100% this portrait that is being painted of Todd. But, again,
I am growing wearier by the minute looking at his Instagram, though. It's like a million.
All right, let me give my quick assessment just based off the few screenshots I see. It looks kind of like he's capitalizing on the a gasp of fame that he has to sort of do like networking or business type stuff.
I'm just like, I don't know. It's weird no matter what if like he left in the cover of Night that he filed for divorce and then they're still like hooking up and then he's just not being clear about whether or not he's going to move forward with said divorce. Like that is weird no matter what.
Right. Yeah. And, and then there's the alternative theory that like he, I don't know, the timing of it is all suspicious and kind of coordinated with the show, airing and
or that
the off seasons.
Divorcing for money reasons.
Yeah. What does a fake rented apartment mean?
Maybe just one that he couldn't afford.
But like, do you film in that?
What do you mean?
Like when she says that has a fake.
Well, I think she was referring to the fact that they live somewhere that they had to evacuate like immediately.
Oh, because they couldn't afford it. Okay. Yeah. I don't know why Todd needed to appear very wealthy. I don't know why anybody does that. I mean, what's the advantage is just, hey, that guy's rich.
Yeah. Well, he's in like the money business, so that would
all right.
him.
Well, I'm afraid that Todd is going to, do a broadcast live tonight and it's going to be like I'm pure evil and I did everything and I left Frankie sitting alone with a Happy Meal in front of him
curb.
watching some horrible programming that he's not allowed to watch and I did leave him and I'll be like, okay, I take back what I said. But I'm
I'm
questioning.
obsessed with you defending the most random person I could ever imagine. Like, I wouldn't, like, for a single second even, like, have it in me to care about Todd. Like, I'm like, who?
I think my only reason for defending Todd, well, a lot of reasons, I love him. But my second reason is that I don't think that Alexia, I don't 100% believe her side of things so far, and I don't think she's above manipulating a bunch of fake garbage to put it on Miami. And it's honestly, I would accuse a lot of them. I would say 3 or 4 of them. Marisol is obviously doing that. Julia is obviously doing that. I mean, Adriana has done this a million times in the past. It's like, is Miami possibly the fakest show that is still actually entertaining? Like, I know that amazing stuff has happened, but there is just a sort of calculated nature to the majority of these cast members. And so I kind of take with a grain of salt almost everything that everyone says.
Yeah. And like I said, I feel like none of the drama is ever that deep. Usually, like, it kind of gets resolved. Although I feel like Adriana's been completely pigeonholed for a long time now.
Yeah, we need her back. All we have is her. She's been dating a
She's
French
busy fucking.
person. Yeah.
She
Okay.
was like, I love a French sausage. She called it blood sausage, which I was like, oh,
She
so
goes,
sick.
yeah, she goes, I'm getting French serum. And everyone's like, whoa, we know exactly what that means. Sexual innuendo for having sex. Yeah, but I think that having Adriana only talking about having sex with that French person is a detriment to the show, because I enjoy Adriana. And when she was iced out of the upcoming Marisol event, I was like, you need Adriana there. She would have been incredibly fun.
Yeah.
Maybe she would have done something different. Okay, all right. I'm sorry to defend what I did. I do you think did you feel a false note at all in Alexia kind of going to a 10 out of 10?
It was just like, I was like shocked, like, because it felt like I hate to say, I don't think she has like a lot going on upstairs. So like,
Right.
I think you can like see her like wheels turning. And I feel like when people started to like get her pissed off, she got riled up in like real time and got overwhelmed and started like yelling and crying. So I felt like almost it was like, just like people started to remind her why she should be pissed. And she like did get pissed.
I get that. Yes, I get that a little bit, but I know that Alexia is kind of self-conscious, and she is one of the least deserving mojito holders, in my opinion. There's been a lot of just extra stuff that has made Alexia vibrant, and I think that she's a good person. Don't get me wrong at all, but of course, but I just think that there is an insecurity, and this was all arranged for her to have this sort of Oscar-winning performance about Todd, and I need to just obviously know more, like I said.
Yeah, because she also, on the episode whenever that was 2 seasons ago, when they go to the Keys or wherever they go to on that trip where Lisa reveals that Lenny's leaving her, and everyone freaks out and screams when and Alexia goes, "Is there someone else?" And Lisa goes, "Yes, there's someone else." And Alexia like flips, like she's like, "I knew it, I fucking knew it." She's like, "It's always someone else," and like she's like enraged for the rest of the conversation. I feel like she has that like fiery personality where like once she realizes, she gets like kind of like off her rocker.
Maybe I misread it. I felt like when she gets that energy up, it's just so out of character for herself. But she feels similarly to Julia in this episode that we're about to talk about, where they go, "This is what these shows are about."
Yeah.
we scream at the top of our lungs. And that is
Yeah.
instantly iconic and dramatic if you scream. Whereas someone else who's much more capable, like Lisa Vanderpump, she never fucking raises her voice for 1 second. She's the most powerful person in the room, no matter what. And she never has to resort to overly dramatic demeanor to try to amp up the drama, because she's not scrounging for drama all the time.
Yeah.
So that's what let's just say, chastise me if you want, Little Turtle Cuties and Villa Rosa VIP. Say, what the hell is Riley doing talking about Todd like this? I'll take it. I understand. And if you felt like Alexia was really feeling all of those feelings and she thought that he's a narcissist, a narc, as Marisol calls him, and that he needs to go to a mental health facility, and she does say that they should all be killed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move past that. I'm sorry to spend so much time on that, but it's kind of easy to talk about the remainder of this episode. It's just kind of silly, petty conflict between Larsa and Lisa. They're throwing jabs at each other at the Milan fashion show. When Lisa goes down the runway, Larsa takes a big lit selfie with her and this other guy there, and then Lisa blows a big kiss to Larsa as she goes through, and it's all very just fun and cute, and you're just kind of perfect drama for me, because I'm just like, you guys love each other so much. And then there's even a scene where when they get to the party afterwards, they don't know anyone else, and they love partying with each other, and they've both got big goblets of champagne, and they look at each other, and it's kind of like a meet cute or the end of a rom-com where they're just like, we got to talk about stuff, when we get home, but before we do, can we just party our asses off together tonight? And it's like really nice, because that's what you would do if you were in a different country and you were with someone that you always loved in the past, even if you're disagreeing at the moment.
Yeah. Then it kind of ends with them implying that Jody is a psycho.
Perfect. Good.
It's like, they're like, where's Jody? And Lisa's like, he's going to be pissed at me. He's always mad when I don't support him or pay attention to him when we're out.
I didn't like that.
Yeah. And so then it's like, the cameras went down for the night, and it's like, and then it shows 1 week later, Larsa is filling everyone in, which is on this week's episode, where she's like, Jody got crazy, and it's so stupid. So we'll just cruise right on in. But...
Well, I don't know what's wrong with me. A lot, apparently, this episode, but I thought that they were implying, I don't know what's wrong with me. I thought they were implying that Jody went and ripped a big line of cocaine in the bathroom of Milan, and then when they, at the table a week later, when Julie goes, how big were his eyes? And they show the photo of him looking deranged, I thought that it was supposed to imply, look at his big pupils. That's what happens when he's snorting big lines of coke. And then I don't think that's the case at all. They
were just saying he was mad and his eyes were bulging.
And they weren't, though. They weren't.
But then half the group was like, he just looks like that. You just showed us a picture of what he looks like.
Yeah. But
Kiki was like, oh no.
She goes, oh, look at his eyes. Look at the stories they're telling with his eyes. I was like, isn't this innuendo for cocaine use or drug use? I thought that's what they were implying, but they were implying that he was mad as a hatter, right? And his eyes were bulging out of his head. But again, what happened? Look, we've watched this week's episode, and nothing ends up happening about this. He didn't fly off the handle. I thought he went up on the bar and started screaming at it, but he was just mad because he was left out for a second or something. That reminded me that I don't like that trait, because that's what TJ did to Stassi. Remember on Potomac?
Yes.
He was majorly upset whenever she would not look in his direction each minute that he was at a party with her. So I don't like that about Jody.
Yes.
All right, let's this episode now. So I liked that episode besides the Alexia dinner, obviously, but this episode I go, okay, the wheels are falling off the train here a little bit, because I didn't think we were ever going to talk about Julia and Gertie stuff again. And then in last week's episode, Julie goes, guess what, it's even worse than just that stupid Zoom call that nobody cares about. There was actually a big yacht trip where Martina didn't go, and I had a +1 to a dinner, and Gertie didn't go to it. And then, so it was almost like she has to justify because producers said, this sucks.
Yeah.
This Zoom shit is not working.
Yeah.
It's not picking up steam. You need something. What happened on that yacht? And you could tell that Julia is, like I already said, she's trying to make something out of this and using any ammunition she can.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to lead us to, that final scene.
Yeah. They try to do a full, like it flashes forward at the beginning and it's like shows the drama. Marisol's wearing an eye patch, and then it's like 3 days earlier, and we get a Frankie appearance, which is always welcome. Alexia brings him when she goes to scout the space for the party that's at the end. The woman who owns the place asks about Todd. She immediately starts crying. Frankie goes, "It's hard," and he like tries to like express what it feels like or what's been going on. He's just like shakes his head. He's just like, I can't, like, I don't even know. Like, it sucks.
I was hoping he was going to reveal some evidence, for me, like say something and Alexia would be like, what are you talking about, Frankie? But he just said it's hard, which that goes either way. He's obviously talking about it's hard that his mom lost Todd. But, I just want to say up front again, this episode was called Worst Wedding Ever. And I go, that's a salacious title. I go, great. I'm excited. And that's got to be one of the biggest letdown titles also that I've ever seen. It wasn't their wedding. I thought their wedding was going to have a bunch of shit go down. It was this horrible, awful wedding party, the worst Bravo party I've ever seen in my life. And it wasn't even about their wedding, and I couldn't believe that my expectations were so high off of a title like that, and then what we ultimately ended up getting. And then in addition to that scene, or in that scene, we find out that Lisa's father has passed away. She went to the funeral. She went there, and he was unresponsive already. So she never really got the final time with her dad after that Milan fashion show.
Yeah, it happens later, but we'll just cover it at the same time. It's like she goes to Canada for the funeral, and cameras go with her. You don't see much. It's like her and Jody just like sitting on the edge of the bed, her deciding what she's going to say there or whatever. But I was like, that feels like, I don't know, like I was thinking how it felt like high status, like mojito holder material to go home for a funeral. You know?
Yeah. I mean, Lisa is secretly the center mojito holder for me. Everything revolves around Lisa, and you can tell there's jealousy amongst the cast because they just all know that Lisa's really got the goods here. Why? Okay, as we go to this Marisol wedding, what's going on? What's going on with this wedding? They show that she's been married twice to Steve before. Love Steve. He's great. But they
were never legally married.
But they had two weddings that were not legal.
They were like ceremonial. The first one was in like a cave. It was like an ayahuasca wedding or something. And then the second one was in Scotland. And then this one, she basically is saying that they're getting older and she was like traumatized by the slow death of her parents and wanted each other to have each other's like proxy, like legal, like full legal guardianship over each other.
So it was a little more justifiable for someone like me who says, stop having weddings on Real Housewives of Miami, Marisol. Is there anything else in the world that you can do? No offense, but you've had a wedding every single season of the reboot of Miami so far to Steve. We also don't know anything about Steve. I like him fine. I think that they're I like him fine, but it's I don't know. I was bewildered by Marisol this entire episode. The way she was going, Steve's kids, you got to call me mommy. When are you going to call me mommy? Call me mommy right now is just oh my God. Marisol, what the hell is going on? I also think that Marisol's humor is overrated. I think we already talked about that. Mm-hmm. She's
just drunk.
Yeah. So they go. Okay. She goes. Mama Elsa. I always think about her. During this time, and then they go on a motorcycle. Steve's kind of awesome motorcycle they're dressed really well, and then they just go to the courthouse and they walk out and they've got their papers. And I guess I don't know. I expected that when they were talking about the wedding day, that I knew it was a courthouse wedding, but I thought that there would be more show reaction
Right.
to it, other than what Alexia ends up planning later.
Right.
Did you think that?
Like they would spend more time.
Like that we would do. I don't know. Like I guess if you're gonna do another, I don't. If you're gonna do another wedding, don't just have Alexia plan. Like why don't you milk it for more than what Alexia gave you the worst party of the century at that whatever that thing was. Like I don't know. I everything about this I didn't understand what was going on. Especially with that wedding. And then
nothing can compare to Adriana's wedding.
No, absolutely
That was
not.
one of the best moments of the whole show.
But I think that that's kind of that's the legacy of Miami, is that they think that they need to include as many. I mean, weddings are obviously common on every Housewives franchise, but I think that there's some like that they always want to go to on Miami, and that's why Marisol has had 3 of them to Steve. On this in this era of Housewives. Do we need to talk about Gertie and Kiki at Stretch Lab?
No, except I want to go to Stretch Lab. I would love to.
What's up with that?
It's just like a place where like a trainer stretches you.
Gosh, that sounds really
There's
good
also a
right
place
now.
called like Face Lab.
Oh,
I
I've
think.
seen that.
And it's like where they like massage your face, which I'm like, maybe that would clear my chi.
I think so. I've seen that. I've seen that a lot. Oh God, it sounds so good right now.
I know.
Oh,
I
could
want
you
it.
imagine? Oh my God.
I actually went on the website today. It's kind of expensive.
Yeah. Kiki, the only thing I'll say about this Stretch Lab scene, I do want to get stretched. But I liked that Kiki said, Gertie, something's wrong here. Gertie, everyone is sort of kind of icing you out, and it's not just because they're all mad at you. It's because no one likes you anymore. Sadly, I think it's what I said when we first started talking about Miami. I think they sense that Gertie's on the chopping block and nobody wants to be around her anymore. Only Julia is making a meal out of fighting with her because it's all she has to do. So then Kiki says, you're just not, working well with anyone. Maybe you should sort of tamper or what's the word? Refocus your entire personality in a different way so people like you more. And Gertie did not like that at all.
Yeah.
She kind of interrupts Kiki, and Kiki's like, well, what the hell else can I say? You're being sort of iced out by everyone, and everyone's kind of mad at you. And then Alexia makes a big deal of the fact that she didn't invite Gertie to her Todd party, anti-Todd party, and
Right.
you're supposed to just understand that Alexia also hates Gertie now. And it's like, why? Because the Zoom thing? Did she hear the yacht story? Like, why? Alexia isn't even trying to pretend like she has a reason for not liking Gertie at this point.
Right. Yeah. No, I missed that.
That's why it's all just a kind of a mess,
Yeah, totally. Okay, there's also a scene where Kiki takes her daughter to the Museum of Ice Cream. It's really just to that's the first time I think we've ever seen one of her kids on camera. So it's like her mom and her kid. So they're trying to give us a little bit more there. She's debating if she's going to reconcile with her father. I totally forgot about the Museum of Ice Cream being a thing.
Let me think about my association with Museum of Ice Cream. I didn't know it existed.
It was one of the first Instagram spaces.
Right, of course. Oh, of course. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Where every room was look at me here.
Yeah, I had to go. I worked at that website, Hello Giggles, for a year.
Wow.
And I had to go cover the Museum of Ice Cream, and I was like, I am a dumber and worse person for having walked through these halls.
I have two questions. Did you write an article about it?
I covered it on social for them.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
And then what about the Museum of Ice Cream experience made it seem like it was really, really stupid?
I mean, it's the dumbest shit you've ever seen. It'll be there's a pink telephone, pretend to answer it. There's a sprinkle pool that you could slide into.
So it's made just for people to take photos of themselves in these different scenarios.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I remember. I've never been to one of those. And at all, even close. But you get ice cream, I assume, at some point
I
of
don't
it.
even remember there had to have been real ice cream, but like it wasn't. There was more ice cream on this one on the show than I remember there being.
Wow. Yeah, so Kiki kind of just says, do we want to recap that scene?
No.
All right, and then I'm gonna say some thoughts about the Sea Spice wedding dinner. First of all, love this location, beautiful.
I mean I've never seen an indoor space that looks like a boat like that.
It was
beautiful. Cool.
It's awesome. Alexia gets so much credit for choosing the Sea Space environment, but she gets no credit at all for how she orchestrated this party. It made Lisa's party look like Lisa's premiere party looked like a Gatsby party at the turn of the 1920 New Year's Eve. It was so badly planned and staged in every way. It was just her 7 family members and then the 7 cast members. Yeah. And then they had to, I'm just skipping ahead because I have to say all this stuff. They, instead of, you know how we talk about the worst Bravo parties are either it's just an all cast event with no friends and family, or it's a big robust party and it's kind of hard to navigate because it's too chaotic. Yeah. This was the worst of both worlds. It had a little bit more people in it, but they designated a spot for them just to fight in the center while friends and family are just going, what the fuck is this? This sucks. They're just watching 6 people at a table face each other and fight and throw water at each other, and no one is being interacted with. It was awful. It was awful to watch. I mean, I couldn't believe it, really.
I love it. I also love, I just wanted to note this quote where Larsa, because she asks Alexia about Todd, and she goes, I don't know what Alexia's thinking. Todd is not that great.
I know. Yeah, that was, yeah, she's
just love being like, for Todd.
Yeah, she doesn't like Todd at all. But what was going on when Alexia talks about Todd? Because last I heard, he, we already talked about it. It didn't look good. But now it's like I'm waiting for him to decide if he's going to divorce me or not. It's like, is there no impetus on her end to be like, I think I will say I want a divorce. I mean, are you still in love with Todd or not? Is it really that she knows he's a monster, an evil monster? When he gets off camera, he goes, I'm evil, Alexia.
Frankie can fry.
Frankie can fry, baby. Did you like being left alone in your apartment when I left you and I left Frankie? I didn't like how you reacted to that apology video that I did. It's like, okay, is he that? Is he like that? Or is he someone that is somewhat redeemable that you want to continue kissing in the beach and marrying? And
he says, Todd, I'll leave the show. I don't need to be on Housewives. And he goes, too late.
It's too late. They've already seen me on the show. You let them record that conversation where I was talking shit about your boys?
He's like the most like nothing person.
Right, I know that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like, is my read on people so wrong that I don't see this secret devil but demon beneath them? It's like, anyway. So then, like, I brought that up only to say what is going on with Alexia. You can't say that and then do this unless you're saying I don't even want to say the word. I'm in a tragic love story where I need to be with you, but he treats me like shit. Okay, if it's that, then I guess maybe that is what she's trying to say. Yeah. But
it feels that if she literally doesn't feel that she is able to have a say in whether or not they get divorced, their relationship is fucked up. Like, right. No matter which way you slice
maybe
it.
I'm just astounded because as Alexia, if I were Alexia, I just imagine that, like, I mean, the world opens up to her as a notable, fun, vibrant cast member on a reality show. Like, I don't know what it's like to be Alexia, even close. I'm not even close to being anything like her. But I just imagine that there are some, I don't know, that there's more opportunities than just Todd. Kind of like what Larsa said.
That's what everyone was saying at the dinner table. They were like, you're beautiful, like, this should be up to you. You should decide. And she's just completely paralyzed.
All right. Well,
it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me give her more grace and say if it's that Todd, warps you like Worm Tongue in Lord of the Rings, and he's whispering in your ear, and you can't get away from him, then I'm sorry. That is absolutely awful that she's going through that. But I think that for that kind of flip-flopping, not flip-flopping, but just for me to not know
it is whiplash.
Whiplash. There's some whiplash there that I need to know more about, which we've already discussed. Yes. Larsa, they immediately, once they get to the party, they go, well, we should say also that Marisol didn't know that this sea spice was happening, and she woke up with a big sty in her eye, and so she had to wear an eye patch. She thought this was just going to be a dinner. So she's on the way, and then she gets there, and then she's surprised with her 7 family members.
Yeah.
Right. And then they immediately go, this sucks. This really sucks. Everything about this sucks. Let's go sit at a table and face each other and talk about Larsa going to Milan. And that's when we get the 3 hours before how we started the episode, where she says Jody went absolutely off the rails, nuts in Milan.
His eyes were bugging out, which I was laughing because Alexia in the corner was like, maybe he has a problem like with a thyroid that like makes his eyes like that, which I was literally just thinking about Aaron on the Valley. I was like, it's giving Graves' disease.
That Aaron has that?
His eyes are just constantly bugged. It's like hard to look at him.
Well, is that what they were trying to say about Jody, and it wasn't about his pupils?
Well, it was like there were so many things going on. Like, I felt like it was about him being angry, and then Julia's like never totally makes sense. Like she was like, "How big were his eyes?" And then Alexia is trying to do like a medical diagnosis about his eyes, and then Kiki is like freaking out about the look of him, and then everyone else is like, that's just what he looks like.
Yeah, doesn't Larsa just say like, I don't, or someone says nothing's going on?
I think Alexia was like, that's what he looks like.
It's like the flash photography, like they're not. It's not that, and I didn't think that photo looked that odd too.
No,
what
that's
I thought
what he
was
looks like.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny that they were accusing him of being like he had blacked out and his eyes were rolling back in his head and he was about to like commit a...
Well, that's also Kiki. Like, remember when she was like, you could tell by the shape of a man's head if he's a piece of shit, and then the cameraman filming that confessional was bald and she was like, sorry.
Wow. Oh, yeah. I forgot that moment. Well, so then, okay. So then this starts then Larsa goes, guess what? Jody was really asking a lot of business questions in the limo or the bus on the way to Milan. And it was like, oh my God. It was
Here we go.
It was like, did you CC me on that email? And Lisa goes, no. And he goes, okay, well, you made a couple mistakes. CC me next time. And Larsa goes, he is trying to take all of her money and he's manipulating her and he's trying to be her manager or whatever. And then Alexia and everyone chime in and they say like, oh my God, he's what do they say? That he's trying to, what's the accusation?
That he's like, he wants her money. But I'm like, didn't he pay for her to like live in that condo? Like, I feel like he supported her at one point.
I think, call me deranged, but I thought it was okay that Jody helped out with some business emails with Lisa.
She needs help.
I mean, that's what I thought. I was like, I could imagine reading a Lisa email, no offense to her, and it being like, not understanding what the rules are for social media posts that she has to do, like just normal
Jody
business
is
shit.
my Todd. I'm like, Jody seems fine.
I mean, again, prove me wrong, but right now I like Jody fine. What are the accusations against him? Or that he's demanding 20% of...
She just hates him because he's friends with Marcus.
He was so sweet at the Milan fashion show when he was just sitting there taking photos of Lisa and he congratulated her.
He keeps to himself. He like sometimes is forced to get involved, and when he does, he like keeps it pretty cool and collected and is like, all right.
Yeah, he's totally fine to me. I'm not like sensing any deep malevolent energy from Jody at all. Okay, and then this starts the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. Really. So bad. It like I don't even remember how it starts. Julia is starting to scream and squeal about.
Yeah, they like imply that they keep showing that she's like gotten multiple drinks, so they're trying to like rev us up that she's drunk. And then Gertie, everyone's like, you guys need to like, squash your beef. And Gertie tries to pull Julia aside, and she goes, stop producing. Like, she's like, stop producing this situation. So it immediately is like a no. And they just go back and forth. Gertie's like, you're acting like a hyena. This is not the animal farm. And they're just yelling at each other. It's like immediate chaos.
Yeah. And then what happens to make... Oh, and then they talk about this yacht trip that
it's like a cruise.
A cruise. And we don't even need to talk about the details of it, but they both have different sides of the story. Gertie feels like Gertie should have been invited to that +1 dinner. She felt like she was a seat filler. She should have been honored as a Bravo cast member. And then Julia says, you just wanted to meet Captain Sandy. And also, you didn't ask me once about Martina, who had a cancer scare. And then Gertie says some stuff like, you were on a big trip at one of Martina's surgeries. You went, I don't know.
You got a facelift while Martina was getting chemo.
Yeah. And then Julia, around the cancer scare part, Julia takes a big cup of water. She's screaming and she says, Martina had cancer. And then she pours a bunch of water all over Gertie, and it gets on Kiki too. And Gertie's like soaking wet. And I was just like, that fucking sucks. I've seen a lot of drinks thrown in my day. I love it. I think about it all the time. Most of them are decent or good or earned. This one was so bad and horrible and lame and such a flop and a dud. And I felt so bad for Gertie. The fact that Gertie stood there and stood up and wanted to keep filming a scene, not let Julia run her off, was really strong and brave, because most anyone who just got soaking wet would want to leave. It's just a very practical concern. I don't want to sit here soaking wet. But she's like, I'm going to sit here and fight and reveal some shit about you, that you are completely unsympathetic to Martina and you do a bunch of fucked up shit when she's had health scares in the past. And so I was glad that Gertie let that out. That's the appropriate time if Julia just threw water at you. And then Kiki had to suffer through Julia's water tirade too and got wet. So it was just, I really think it's, if Brandy got fired, or her last season was when she just threw wine on Eileen for no reason because it seemed fake, this was like a fireable offense to me. It was so stupid. It was so bad. Is there anything that will people be like, that was iconic and awesome?
No. It wasn't iconic.
Was it earned?
No.
Was it?
It was like, it's so weird. Yeah. It's like, again, it just feels like there's shit missing. Like, the Zoom announcement thing wasn't worth a damn. Like, that sucked. And then this whole thing where it's like, it also feels like a weird topic because it's clearly like an appearance, like, like a talent appearance. So it's kind of like a weird thing because Gertie said that there were like 3 separate like events and she did the first one, and it sounds like Julia was going to do the second one, and then maybe someone else was going to do the third one. And Gertie had just gotten back from the first one and then got the call from Julia like, please join me on the second one because Martina can't come, please come with me. So she had to just go on 2 of them. And I was like, is there something weird about, like, I mean, they showed the picture of them with Captain Sandy, but then they implied that was from more recently. Like, they're like, we just saw Captain Sandy yesterday or something. And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's too convoluted and it has too much fourth wall breaking. The fact that it even involved Captain Sandy, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about in this
that
cruise?
Would be interesting if there was something about like the lesbian mafia, like she had she ditched her for Captain Sandy because like they, you know, have more in common. Like if there was something there, I'd be like, all right, let's hear it.
Yeah, and I don't even like. I'm not a huge Gertie head, but I really don't believe that she was so self-absorbed and mean that she was not ever talking about Martina and not being sympathetic. And if Julia already lied about the Zoom thing, which was a total non-factor, I don't doubt that Julia's lying about how misbehaved Gertie was on this cruise. Right. So, and then again, though, it's one of those things where it's just like, I don't fucking care. And it never should have led to this. That feud should have never ended up here. And then at the end, I just, we'll say final thoughts, but at the end, Marisol is like, this party fucking sucked. You can tell the energy is just like, sorry, I don't know why we just sat and looked at each other. And Steve, is that his name? Steve?
They bring the cake out and they're like, great.
Steve was just like, this is awful.
Yeah, they're like, they're gonna kick us out.
He was like, I can't believe this is happening. This is supposed to be our wedding party. Like, why? What was this about? And then like Marisol just has to apologize to her family, and you could just feel the artifice on every minute of this as they were saying their goodbyes. And then Marisol has to give Bravo a bone and give them the tee up, which is like, this was the worst wedding party ever. just so that we had that scene, you know, to make us excited at the start of the episode.
Yeah. Well, I do have good news. There is a new cast member joining next week, so that could help.
Yes. I mean, you know, the odds are...
She's rich.
Good. I mean, the odds are, I'd say there's a 50-50 chance she's good. But I have the highest hopes in the world. I mean, I'm being much harsher than you probably felt about it. I'm sorry to be that way. It seemed like every problem that Miami has had all reared its head in this one episode for me.
I just thought of what we could call this episode.
Oh, do you want to say it?
So Help Me, Todd.
Oh my god, that's fucking amazing. If you're down with it, I mean, I love that title. Oh my, So Help Me, Todd. We've never done that before. Anything like that, right?
I don't think so.
Oh my god.
Todd has never been this at the forefront.
Oh my, So Help Me. Okay, I love it. Let's go with that. All right, well, because I just want to like assess my feelings really quick before we leave, before we get off. We both loved Miami up to this point. We talked about all the iconic moments. It's an amazing show to binge. There's so many moments that I'll think about for the rest of my life. But do you feel like, was this just a dip in quality, but this cast of course can go forward because there's been so many amazing moments in the past? Or do you think is this leading to a new era of Miami that we've maybe run its course with the current dynamics? I mean, do you think is this a pivot point in Miami, or is it not that serious?
Potentially too soon to tell. This is like only the third. Is this the third episode? Yep.
Yeah.
I've never had to recap it so far. I got to just binge it. So it's honestly like, it does make a difference in the way that you watch it, because I kind of let it wash over me for like a month or two where it didn't really matter how consequential anything was, because I was like, whatever. But when you actually have to break it down, you're like, there's not much here.
Yeah.
So I don't know if like we would have been recapping like previous seasons that we consider better if it would be the same thing. Yeah,
right. There's probably been a lot of shitty, horrible, fake moments that we just brush past because we're like, okay, well, that was a bad episode. But, you know, we're just thinking about all of the wonderful moments. But I just think that, like, Julia specifically, her actions this episode were almost, like, damning. Like, you can't tolerate much more of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said it before. I have enjoyed historically. I love the Martina of it all. But I am kind of surprised that she's like made it this long.
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, I don't know. Okay. Are we keeping that news segment at the top of the hour? Am I giving us the full Turtle Time report card? Are we keeping that? 18 minutes?
We're keeping it.
All right. Okay. I hope you guys all enjoyed that news segment. And I hope you enjoyed that.
The medical minute.
The medical minute, Amy's Chi. And then I hope you were accepting of some of the thoughts I had about Miami. I hope I wasn't too critical. Obviously, I was. But yeah, okay, so we accomplished the Turtle Time mission as we wind down. News. There was a lot of news at the start. I think we did a good job there. 2 episodes of Miami. If you are saying to yourself, I really don't like Riley's coverage of Miami, it was really odd and too negative. Well, I think that soon coming up, we won't just be talking about Miami. We've got kind of a big, I'd say a big orange, huge, gigantic orange that is crashing down to earth pretty soon. And that is Real Housewives of Orange County, which is coming in July. And I think that obviously, I think that's going to be a big boon to Turtle Time and to us as viewers. And so, not that Miami is like we're in the dregs or anything, but I just think that there's a lot of stuff coming up in the future, and that I'm excited to talk about.
Yeah, I think we should also. I'm just saying this rogue, but at some point because it's like the Atlanta reunion is like filming. They posted the pictures this week, so maybe we can like round out our viewership of that and do like a State of the Union on that, because so much crazy shit went down just overall on like fourth wall cast stuff,
Okay, yeah, let's do it. I definitely, I'm very interested in what led Britt to make the decision that she did. So we'll get back on Atlanta. I feel bad that we just completely, what were we thinking? What the hell is going on with us? We just kind of left Atlanta in the lurch, but we'll do a State of the Union. We'll also talk about Next Gen NYC someday, of course, but you just have to think about Amy and I. Look at us. Please, just take a look. Just take a look at. Think about Amy's chi. Think about my chi. Look at what we do, Amy. Please, just take pity on us, please. We can't do much more.
My life force is draining.
We're trying our best. Please, we're so thankful though to everyone. Little Turtle
We're
Kitties.
Like Tinkerbell. If you rate and review.
Oh.
Our spirit, our light will shine. My chi will increase.
Talk about a chi boost. Seeing a review on Apple Podcast, that would make anybody get a little bit more chi. Speaking of, please boost Amy's chi and go on Apple Podcasts and review us. Write 2 reviews back to back. Go to Spotify and comment. We asked for Spotify comments yesterday. We didn't get a single one. What the hell is going on? And then YouTube, we love the YouTube comments. And then the most cherished of all is our Villa Rosa VIP comments. Every single one of those gets the magnifying glass where Amy and I look at every word and we think about it for the rest of our lives. So just, bear with us during this Miami period. And if you need more Turtle Time, which somebody who just listened to this might say, yes. Yes, I need more. I need more. Well, there is an option for you. Patreon, $5 a month. You get access to the Vanderpump Rules recap series, and you know what it is. We talk about it every single week. It's a wonderful oasis for Vanderpump Rules-centric commentary with wonderful Villa Rosa VIPs. We love every single one of them. And it's a wonderful community where people can be just sweet and nice to each other and have a little bit of fun and say, thoughts, their deepest truths to each other, which I think is a very valuable thing. So that's it. Amy, anything you want to say before we say goodbye?
No, but yeah, if you become a Patreon, my chi will go through the roof.
Oh my God, we should have an Amy's chi tip jar where $2 a month gives chi, and you give monthly chi updates. Would you ever do that?
Yeah, I'll add it once this is live.
Let's make the threshold really low for what we have to do. I'll be in them with you. Like I can be a consultant interviewing you about your chi, but $2 a month, Amy's chi update only once a month, and it's only a 5-minute video that we have to do. Could we commit to 5 minutes once a month for $2?
Well, if my chi is high enough to do that.
Well, it could be chi, right? Of course. Well, okay. We'll talk about the chi tier soon. Well, Amy, I have to ask though. Really, this is serious. Before we sign off, was I too hard on Miami and too pro Todd?
No, I like it. You were perturbed.
I was pissed. Okay. All right. Okay. We'll sign off. Goodbye, Villa Rosa VIPs and Little Turtle Cuties. We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.